Good evening, family. Just wanted to come to you. It's been a while since I've, excuse me, recorded a video. And since my last video, there's some changes that have taken place with the work that I do. Still continue to teach and still do the things that I do as an educator, but my role has changed to where I am, excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my throat today. I have my tea, I don't know what's happening. To where I am now helping in a co-teaching situation, which I enjoy because that way now those who I'm working with or those who are there, we can kind of share energy, or I can share my energy on what it is that is expected to be able to help young people get the education that they need. I still continue to teach math. And so that the subject matter is the same. It's just now my energy is going to be utilized to be able to not only teach the students that I'm teaching in that subject, but also utilize the energy of the other educators or the two other teachers that I'll be working with in the room to be able to achieve the goal of getting middle school students to understand their math, and not only, of course, to utilize them in what it is that they're using every day, but also to be able to assist them with what it is that happens with the math that they're learning. I hope everyone enjoyed their time off on this holiday where we come together and share meals with our family. Others who did partake in the shopping of Black Friday, something that I shared on my social media, where Black Friday started. And if you educated yourself and understood what it was about, you decided not to partake, especially considering what the origin of the holiday or the day was designed for. So, with that being said, there was still another opportunity if you did not have to work. If being teachers, we did not have to spend time and reflect on your family. Now, as I think about, the time that we came together and we had a meal or spent time with our family, about some of the conversations that you may have had with your family, or what it is that you intend to have maybe in the future, or what it is that we should be paying attention to, or things that in the understanding of having an attitude of gratitude, of being grateful for what it is that you have. You woke up this morning, you opened your eyes, you're able to see, you lifted your hand and you're able to move, you sniffed and you were able to smell, whatever it would be. Maybe it had been your morning breath, whatever it is, your nose is still functioning. You opened your mouth, your voice still worked, everything was still working. The sounds outside, either it be windy, raining, or birds chirping, whatever the case may be, because your ears are functioning, you heard them. And so just with those things, when you first woke up, you have something to be grateful for, that this time that we've had for our family was set aside to be thankful, but originally was not for us to be thankful for the things that I just mentioned, but for what it is that those who came here to inhabit these lands did in order to be able to take possession of this land was to be grateful for. So I don't think that we should be grateful for anybody who had to die as a result of losing something that belonged to them, but being grateful for having the life that you have and be able to do the things that you need to do. And another opportunity to fulfill your purpose here on earth, to be able to do the things necessary to be able to continue to have the life that you have. Need to be something that you want or something that you have currently, and now you're working toward what it is that you want. The family members that you care and love dearly, and being able to spend time with them and be who it is that you need to be to them. Need you to be a parent or a child who's being cared for by a parent, or maybe even someone even higher than that, where you're a grandparent who has to be concerned about the things that are going on with you and your family and the positions that you have with them. So my point in mentioning all of that is a lot of times we don't think about all of the things that we have going on when we are doing the things that we're doing with our family, but we should be mindful because every last one of us have a purpose in what it is that we do. So, family, and understanding what your purpose is and how you fulfill that purpose is something that should be determined by yourself. A lot of times you'll hear people say that if there's something that you tend to get angry about or just can't seem to be comfortable with things that are happening. For example, if one of the things that you see that tends to occur that people take habits in, say, not keeping their house clean, or habits that people have in how they dress, or in some instances, I know that some probably get crazy in regards to how somebody keeps their hair. And when you seem to get frustrated with things that are just kind of just rattle your cages and grind your gears about, that tends to be something that is kind of calling at you and telling you that's your purpose. Your purpose is to show and demonstrate or help those who struggle with certain issues now come around to understanding why these things are important. When I think about that, it was years ago when I started working with youth and started noticing that they would mimic a lot of the things that I do. Actions that I would take, responses to how I would respond to things that would make me angry, or how I interacted with people, or even how when I engage some of my co-workers of how I shake hands with the gentlemen, or how I interact with the ladies that I work with. And one of the things what I saw were, they had this little game where let's pretend, who am I? And then they would play this game and show certain behavior traits that would occur not just with their friends, their peers, but also with the adults that are around. And the ones that I saw that had identified me, I was like, wait, I do that? And sometimes we do it not knowing. So then I had to make a reflection as to, okay, so what do I need to do so that I am mindful of being not only who I am, but adhering to the purpose that I have, what it is that I want to do. So I took and changed my brain and changed some of the practices that I have. And now when I see children mimic them, there aren't those that would either get them deeper into trouble or cause them to have a consequence that would possibly get them either detention, suspension, or even worse, expulsion. Because a lot of us as adults, if we could be completely honest, have behaviors that we display that if we wanted to tell our children, no, you can't talk that way, you can't behave that way because it's inappropriate, the lessons that they're learning are not things that are coming from your mouth and is going to their ear. The lessons that they're learning mostly are those that you demonstrate. And so if you have behaviors that you want to see manifested in someone else, it starts with you first. And so when we came together during this holiday on Thursday, where we were amongst those of who we were birthed from, those who taught us, those that we teach in the lives of our children and grandchildren, even some that are friends or girlfriends or whoever it may be. All of those that are around us learn something from you. If you don't believe it, if you hear some of the things that you never heard them state and then you start saying them, guess where they learned them from? And so if we want to do the things or adhere to what our purpose is or what it is that we want to see happen, we have to do a self-examination as to what it is that we would like to see in others. Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. And then in doing so, you'll start to see the types of energies that you create, not only for yourself, but also those around you. I mean, I don't know too many people who will gravitate to a person that they see that is doing something and that they want to do it too. Need it be the type of behavior traits that they have, need it be the way that they speak, need it be that some type of business or operation that they're part of that they also want to get to. I mean, I was told at one time where, now I won't say where I was, but I was displaying this huge amount of energy that it was how it was making me feel. Then I would have someone come up to me and say, wow, I really want to get whatever it is that you have because I want to respond the way you want to respond. Now, what I told them in result is, well, whatever happens to you, you can only have it come out of you the way it comes out of you. Now, yes, I can teach certain things, or I can show how certain things respond to me. I mean, think about it. It's football season, and we go to the football games, and we're out there, and we're cheering and giving all this energy, cheering our team on. And whenever something happens bad to them, we feel it, and we start feeling bad, and we have a response to it. Or when they make a play, or they make a touchdown, and all of a sudden we're cheerful. And so our energy is going from low to high, and how we respond to them, it's energy. And whether you know it or not, that energy that you are projecting towards your team, you being in the stadium, or even if you are watching them on TV, you are giving them the energy, and you're responding to the things that are going on, and there's energy that's created from it. Now, when you look at it that way, and you're projecting whatever it is that you're projecting in a line of energy, there's something that's happening to you, and then because you're projecting it, it's something that's happening to those that are around you. And there are those who may be envious, or may feel like what you have is something that is not real, or there are those like, wow, I want that. And they may even connect with you or talk to you and say, what did you do in order to get that energy? Now, if I was a person who looked at things and I wanted to be able to get paid for everything that I teach, or whatever the case may be, I think I'd be a miserable person, because I would try to avoid people as much as possible, because I would display this energy and somehow somebody would want to get it. Then I would have to tell them what it is that I got and charge them to do so. But I don't think that should be the case, because we are all human beings that exist on this planet, and we exist in a civilization in which we all can get something from one another. And why is it always got to come at a price of $1? That's ridiculous to me. So what I do is I share it. A lot of it comes from some of the things that I have that I've already shared in previous videos. Some of the things that I have done in the past. I go say as far back as when my first year of college. Before first year of college, being from Philadelphia, one of the biggest things that a lot of us from Philadelphia do is we like to eat cheesesteaks. You like cheesesteak hoagies, however you like your cheesesteak. When you're born in that city, one of the things you're introduced to when you're able to eat them are cheesesteaks. And so I used to eat them a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I ate them a lot. Then after my first semester of college, I came home, didn't have a lot to do, but I relaxed a lot, because it was around this time. It was during the Christmas break, and unlike school where it's either 1 or 2 weeks, when you're out of college after the first semester, it tends to be more like 4 weeks before you go back to school. Now, you could get a job, or you could do something to make some money, whatever the case may be, but it won't be the same, or you won't have as much time to be able to do so. Like as far as getting in the job, once you get the job, you'll be there for a little while and then you're gone. Not unless you have those types of jobs where you work there, they know what your breaks are, you come home, you're doing that job, you're done, you get ready, you pack your things up, you go back to school. But I didn't have that. And so what I did was spend a lot of time at home. I was on the couch, watching TV. Mom would get these big packs of hot dogs, it'd be like 3 to 5 pounds sometimes. And what I found was she had a whole bunch of beef hot dogs, and I was eating these hot dogs. And every time I ate them, I really didn't notice that when I was eating the cheesesteaks, when I was eating the cheesesteaks. But when I ate those hot dogs, beef hot dogs, I got this feeling of tired and euphoria, and you feel sleepy. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I gotta go take a nap. I just ate them hot dogs. I gotta go take a nap. And then when I woke up from the nap, I'm thinking, why am I so tired? When I was in school, we were on campus, we were doing a whole bunch of things, and when it snowed, we like to play football and all these other things. But now I'm coming home my first year of college, 19 years old. No, I'm sorry, I was 18 at the time, not 19, 18. I need to make some changes so that I don't seem to feel this sluggish and slow so much. So what did I do? The moment that I woke up, I decided I'm going to stop eating beef. I'm going to stop eating beef, and I want to see what happens. Now, come on, anything that you stop. I don't know how many of you struggle with changing any habits. Need to be, say, smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol or overeating or whatever the case may be. You have to admit that at the beginning, when you're first started, it's a struggle. Not to mention you got people around with you almost dangling the stuff in your face like a carrot to the donkey to try to get you to move, to try to get you to eat it. It was a struggle. Now, today, of course, all these years later, It's not a struggle for me anymore. But when I did stop, what I did notice, I had energy. So if you had a struggle with eating beef, maybe from Philadelphia like I am, I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. If you have a place where you're eating a lot of this red meat, I mean, one of the things that was told to me back then, and even to this day, I realized that you'd spend a lot of energy digesting that meat than you do anything else. So there it was. I've even learned even since then. We breathe oxygen. The oxygen that we breathe, if our oxygen is not used down into our stomach or our intestine, designed, being used to digest the food, then it's used for our brain function so we can use as we're awake and doing what we're doing. But when you eat, the body needs that oxygen to burn the food that you have. And if you have food that really needs a lot of oxygen to break it down, well, that energy that's typically going to your brain is now going down to your stomach. And now it needs that energy to take all these things apart. So what I did, even back when I was 18, didn't realize it. The purpose apparently that came into mind then was, I gotta stop letting this beef rob me of my energy. So that's what I did. Then of course, as years progressed, the other things that I came up with, being active, playing sports, all these other things. But whatever the case may be, there's some of the things that I do now. One of the things I also realized I needed a detox. And of course, detox, if you're familiar with what detox is, you have a lot of stuff that's sitting inside your stomach. Some people who have had what's called colon cleanse, I never had one, but if you've ever had a colon cleanse, it said that they were 19, 20, maybe 22 at the time. They had a colon cleanse. Doctor told them that there are things that were coming out of them that had been in them since they were in second grade. That was just lingering and sitting inside of their intestines, and now have been spent out of them so they can get it out. I noticed that after they did so, they tended to take on this regimen of eating a lot of honey. And honey, if you're not aware, has enzymes in it that helps populate your insides, your guts, with the necessary bacteria needed to break down the food. Because you have some that we need to get out, other bacteria that's called a probiotic. It means that it populates, when you eat it, it populates your intestines to help you digest your food. That he used that to move the stuff out through his body. And so I did something different. I did take a probiotic, but also drink a lot of water. Spent a lot of time in the bathroom. And all these things that were seemingly polluting my insides, well, I got rid of them. It smelled kind of crazy, but I got rid of it naturally. Now, since I've done that, people are talking about being lactose intolerant, probably because they have some of the bacteria in them that will make it digesting milk a little difficult. Well, I can drink milk now. I continue to drink a lot of water, so I can try to maybe keep my system flushed. I drink about 78 ounces of water a day. So those things, by keeping your systems free, now your body is not using energy to digest and utilize and do whatever is necessary with those food. That food is gone. Now you can have the energy to do whatever it is that you need to do. It's typical that some people, when they go to the bathroom, they may go to the bathroom once a day. Some people may go once every couple of days. But your body actually is designed that you should have to go at least 3 times a day. Newsflash, I did my 3 times. I'm done for the day. I won't have to go again until tomorrow. Why is that? Because detox my body. The other thing is when you're trying to get some sleep. A lot of times people, they struggle with going to bed because they have so much they have to do. Others just feel like, hey, I want to stay up because my family's up or whatever the case may be. So they deprive themselves of sleep. Well, your body has to go to sleep because it needs to do what is necessary to, how can I say, flush out the things that has caused you to have to work, be awake and do whatever it is you do. And when you go to sleep, your body goes into this regenerative process where they use that melatonin to be able to help your body do so. It puts your body at rest. It's nighttime, so you're adhering to what's called your circadian rhythm, something that I did a video on. If you want to know what it is, look at my videos. I did a whole explanation on the circadian rhythm. And being able to now recharge the battery that has been used all day so that by the time the sun comes up, that melatonin is turned off, and now you can wake up. And hopefully you have now been fully prepared, you're fully awake, and all those things. I'm going to talk about in another video about some studies that have been done as to what it is that sleep and its impact on the brain, and why it is that if you're sleep deprived, you don't feel as productive, you don't have as much energy with this. But if you're getting the sleep necessary, then your body's fully recharged, you feel good, especially you spend a lot of time in that deep sleep, and be able to have what it is you need so that your cognition's in place and you'll be able to focus on what it is that you need to do for the day. So again, going back to everything that happened during the holiday, I mean, things you talk about with your family, you know, a lot of times, you know, there's a whole lot of things that happen that causes family to bump heads and, you know, get into it because they have a problem with something somebody said or something somebody did that happened years and years ago, but you're still holding on to it because you feel like it's doing you some good, because you never ever want to trust this person ever again because of what they've done. Yet it's interfering with you moving on in life because you're holding on to these things. And then some of the folks may decide of, I don't know, got some type of spirit in them or something that occurred and it triggered them, and all of a sudden there's an argument that breaks out, and in some instances they turn into a fight, broken dishes, people getting mad, yelling and screaming. In some instances, they take it even further. Folks are grabbing weapons and doing all these things, and people are losing their life behind nonsense that really should have been buried and just left alone, because, you know, life goes on and you can change your engagement with this person, but you don't have to carry this stuff around because it's interfering with what it is you need to do with your life. And so the things that I think would be important is, we got a new year coming about, we got all these things that are about to happen, and there are things that you're going to do to be able to save yourself. But if this is an opportunity that your family has come in, maybe from out of town, maybe they live close, wherever they may live, and maybe take the floor and step up and tell them some things about what it is that's happening with the fact that we're using all of these electronic devices and the impact that it's having on our bodies that's causing us to feel fatigued and drained and all these other things. You can have these conversations and talk about what it is that you can do to protect yourself, protect your family, protect the babies, because the babies are more so vulnerable because they're still growing. They don't have the thickness in their skull yet to be able to handle some of the waves that may have an impact on their brain that will ultimately maybe impact them as they grow and develop, and potentially, of course, impact them when they become an adult. That you can have these conversations of what your family can do to preserve your family, to help keep the children safe from what it is that's going to come, to help keep yourself safe so you can be around to be able to see the generations as they manifest before your sight and do the things that they're doing. And so I want to, as much as I possibly can, share as much information. I've shared so many things. I've talked about the shungite. In fact, I have my little piece of shungite right here, you know, just kind of rubbing it and think about the shungite and what the shungite can do to be able to help assist you deal with these EMF waves. I even did a video to show the resistance that the shungite has and why it is so powerful in being able to absorb these EMFs, these electromagnetic fields, these RFs, these radio waves, things that eventually now, with the prospect that it's 5G, it's going to cause us to walk around and be living products for being microwave, how it's been weaponized and used to put in to shoot into crowds to make people's skin feel like it's burning so they disperse. It's almost like they microwave these people temporarily so that they'll move away so that they wouldn't cause the problems, and these folks can restore peace, or in doing war to be able to get people out the way so that they can achieve their goal of conquering whatever it is they need to conquer. There's other things like the Himalayan salt lamp. I mean, I have one, but now I got 3 that's burning in the house. It's positive ions. I have a multimeter. I always have the multimeter because because I use it all the time when I'm trying to do things like fix issues that have occurred in my house that may be becoming defective, or if I'm working on a piece of electronics to see whether there's some continuity or whether there's some resistance or whether there's a juice getting to certain things. I mean, the vehicle as well. And so just like, you know, things that operate in your house, like the light that you see in me, this video, and all of the other things that we use that's electric in our house, that we need to also understand that we're electric as well. Our brain waves, the neurons that go from cell to cell, that go from nerve to nerve inside our brains are electric. Our heartbeat, they use a defibrillator to put on your body to bring that heart rate to start pumping. When that's movement of the things inside of your intestines, of how they move food from the time you eat it through your esophagus and your stomach through your duodenum and all through your small intestines, reading your large intestines, where it is potentially going to the exit, and then you have to excrete it. All of these things have electric. These muscles that we're using in our body are done through electric, going from our brain down our spine through our peripheral nerve, our nerves, to be able to allow these to operate, all electric. And because they are, we understand that because they're electric, those signals can be interrupted from the electricity they have around us, the Wi-Fi and all of the cell towers coming through to give your cell phone signals, and all of those things that are causing us to be able to be exposed to all of these electromagnetic frequencies, electromagnetic fields, and all of these things that are happening that if we have too much exposure to could be making us sick. Could also have a drain on our energy and all these other things. So again, going back to some of the other things, grounding. I showed you, I got a video on that where I put my feet to the ground. It's a little cold, but I'm trying to find out if it's cold outside, how can I ground while I'm inside? Well, my basement doesn't have a carpet or anything that's insulating me from the basement, and because concrete absorbs moisture, that moisture is very conductive. I mean, something I'm going to do something later. I'll tell you about the conductivity of water, because that's why you can't put anything that's electric in water, because you can get electrocuted. I'm sure you're already aware of that. But water, being at small amounts and connected to the earth, because the earth has its own frequency. The earth's frequency is at 7.83 hertz. That's something else that we can get into. But that electric, that ground that we have, that we can put our bodies to, will cause these clumping that comes of the white blood cells inside of our blood, that when you ground, they're free to move around. If they're free to move around, and if you get exposed to something that your body is not supposed to be exposed to, now they have the fight necessary to be able to get whatever it is out of you. The inflammation, the arthritis, the MS, and all the other things that you ground yourself, you can free yourself of that. Because if you're already suffering from those things, and now we have these EMFs that are in the atmosphere, and then now we got 5G that's coming next year. I mean, I was looking at the news and I was looking at the signs in one of the stores that says 5G is here inside of the store. And so someone's like, yes, I can't wait to 5G. I want to have faster internet, which I don't understand why you need it faster than what it already is, but I want to have everything faster, everything's going to be great. Not realizing your exposure to that is what's going to be making you sick. And these are conversations that I think you should be having with your family that is productive, that's going to keep them around, that's going to help make them healthy. I mean, for many years growing up as a kid, I'm sure you probably had the same thing where your parents say you need to eat your vegetables. And as a kid, you taste vegetables, like, oh, this is nasty, I don't want it. But then you become older and I was like, I don't care what it tastes like. It makes me feel good now that I'm eating them. I'm going to eat my vegetables. I wasn't such a challenge with that. I did eat my vegetables when I was a kid. I eat my vegetables today. I had some today. I'm going to continue to eat my vegetables. Of course, fruits, most fruits that we eat has a sweet taste. And they never really had a challenge with anybody eating fruits, eating apples, strawberries, or bananas, or whatever the case may be. For a long time, I didn't like bananas. But then when I found out the potassium in bananas combats the sodium and other foods, and sodium is something that a lot of us deal with because that's what's giving us a high blood pressure. Well, now I'm eating bananas. And I'll be honest, now that I'm eating them, I haven't felt better since I started. I mean, at times, not just eat one a day, I might eat 2 or 3. I mean, where have anybody gotten sick from eating too much fruit? Don't make any sense. Another one that I just thought about, I've just been doing it for as long as I have, it's only been a couple of years, but fasting, abstaining from food, meaning for a period of time, not eating anything, you're not going to die, you're not going to starve, nothing adverse is going to happen to your body, but instead the things that are going to, the HGH, human growth hormone, or autophagy, where your body is now going to repair and do whatever is necessary to be able to keep it alive, so that when you do eat, now your body is ready to be able to digest that food, because you have given your body a break from having to do so by abstaining from food. So I have so many things. Now it's just coming second nature. I mean, going back to even the sleep thing, I listen to music at 432 hertz, something else that you probably should also look up and do some research on, and what it is that they have done with music so that you don't listen to music at 432 hertz. But now I have such great dreams that I remember by going to sleep listening to this music at 432 hertz. Do I have to pay for the music? No, I pay for the service for the music come in, which is my cell service or Wi-Fi service. But the music is free. Where do I get it from? YouTube. YouTube has tons of them. And they'll even tell you what the various frequencies of music could do while you sleep. If you need some healing, they got music for that. If you need to get some higher cognition, if you need to get better brain function, they have music for that. If you have music that you want to listen to that help you, I don't know, heal, maybe while you're grounding, if you grounded your bed to the ground while you sleep, which of course will also give you more sleep, and more sleep will give you more energy. Go figure. So I'm saying all this to say that we spend time with our family. Why not be the one who should have been the one that's been talking about what it is that we need to do, maybe planning some meetings in the future. I mean, there's another holiday coming up. December has the one holiday that everybody thinks about. Everybody like to come together, exchanging gifts and having more meals or whatever the case may be. Maybe during a time when somebody's either open up their gift and maybe give them a gift that's going to help them deal with these 5G that's coming. Or you can have conversations, don't cost anything to talk. And even if they're not listening or you think they're not listening, there's things about the brain that if something around is going on and it's going in the ear, whether the person is paying attention or not, even in their subconscious, it still gets in there. And if you continue talking, before you know it, you're going to see behaviors or things that are going to be evidence to show that the things that you've been telling them or things that you've been sharing with them to help save their life are starting to take place. They're going to start going to do things and not realize, where did I hear this at? I heard this somewhere before. And they weren't even paying attention because they were too busy either eating food or tearing up a gift wrapping off of a gift or whatever the case may be. But in any event, you have a responsibility, you have a purpose. And in that purpose, I want to encourage you to not only find it, but in order to operate in it, do whatever is necessary so that you can be whatever it is that you need to be to your family as well as to yourself. And when I say family, that's why I call you my family. Doesn't necessarily have to be those of who you've married to or whatever the case may be. All of those that are within the sound of my voice is my family. And because they are, I want to see you prosper. I want to see you do the things that is necessary. I need you to find your purpose. Ask yourself why. If you don't understand why you're doing something, why are you doing it? So by asking yourself why, and you get the answer, you know why, and you continue to do it because you know you're doing it and operating in your purpose. And so I'm going to end this video with this. We had the holiday, we had the things that we had that we talked about and spoke about, we're going to be grateful for. Be grateful for the life that you have. Be grateful for the purpose that you're operating in. Be grateful for the family that you have been blessed with. Do whatever you can to preserve those critical relationships and those connections you have with your family and help them also not only find their purpose, but be around to fulfill that purpose through doing what is necessary to be able to preserve the life that they have. This 5G, these things they're coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. In 1996, they handled it when they passed legislation that whatever it is that's going to happen with these cell services, whatever the case may be, they are free from any liability because they have been given the green light to do whatever they want to with the frequencies, the technology, whatever the case may be, the EMFs, the RFs, the MMWs, whatever it is they want to do. And since that is the case, what you can do is change your lifestyle, get the things necessary that you can get so that you can be able to stay alive and fulfill your purpose and not get sick as a result of what it is that's going to happen with this frequency that they're about to introduce that they call 5G, and continue to limit your contact with some of the electronic devices. Try to protect yourself as much as possible and shield yourself from the things that are coming in from your house. Turn the Wi-Fi off, or whatever it is that you need to do. Get yourself a multimeter, be able to test your frequencies and find out what those frequencies should be in regards to the amount of volts that should be running through your body. Because if you were to touch a multimeter now, turn on the AC function, you will see that you have volts going through your body, unless you're grounded. And you're grounded, it's going to say 0 because that means that that frequency is being mitigated through the ground with the negative ions and the positive ions in your body. And so that needs to take place to help you keep happy. Stay healthy. Look at what rabbits do. Rabbits dig a hole in the ground, and they have groundhogs live in the ground. And yet all they eat are vegetables. And they get all the protein and vitamins that they need from what it is that they eat. They're big, they're pretty strong. Bears, and live in caves, in the ground. So when they go to sleep at night, they're grounded. They're organisms just like you and I are. And so consider all of these things. Find out as much information as possible. If you want, I have a book right now coming from Clint Ober in regards to grounding, earthing, they called it. I want to read about it because I need to do whatever I have to do, not only protect myself, of course, and protect my family and everyone else. And then whatever it is that I get, I'm going to share with you. And I don't need a dime to do so. Because what does it really cost to be able to get the information or the education necessary to be able to save someone that you care about and that you love? So I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday. I hope it was productive. I hope that you enjoyed yourself and got newfound energy from having the connections that you have with your family rekindled because you all came together, and that you talked about being productive and doing the things necessary to continue to be that way. This is Energized Coach, just giving you a video talking about some of the things that should be discussed, along with having good times and enjoying your life and operating in your purpose. I hope you continue to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, as well as have a wonderful week going forward. I will see you all in my next video. Peace.